we do have already some participants anxiously waiting for us to start, and that will be my pleasure really now to open the session officially and welcome everyone that join us for this hour and what we hope an interactive session at the end. We have prepared for you the topic of teaching cars to see and understand human behavior in real time. And this breakout session came out as a result of the cooperation between Motherson and Gestoos, corporate tier one supplier and startup, which is the goal and purpose of Startup Autobahn. So we will be very glad to give you first some short introductions about our companies, as well as introduce the basics, the tool that was created by Gestoos for the project, as well as the joint efforts and results of the investigations that were done in order to ensure the future safety of children in our cars, which I think is an important topic for all of us. So basically with me, the two teams are there. At least some of the participants were successful to join in as moderators. So we can start with that. And as first one, we will give you a short introduction of Motherson as well as Motherson Innovations. And that will be done by my colleague Mukesh.
Thank you, Ursula. So a few words about myself. My name is Mukesh Patel. I'm R&D manager at Motherson Innovations and located at our office in Stuttgart, Germany. So about Motherson Group, so we are a tier one supplier, mainly focusing on automotive industry. So we serve our global customer footprint worldwide with the presence in 42 countries with more than 270 production facilities. So currently we are one of the 21 largest supplier with revenue of more than 10 billion US dollar. We have more than 135,000 colleagues in Motherson family who are helping continuously to grow it further. Yeah. We provide full system solutions to our customer in multiple sectors, I would say, with different business units. So in the next slide, we see that we have some business units. Some are well established with larger presence worldwide. And first three are our main business units. First, working in the wire harness, which are providing, let's say, connectivity to electronic and electrical system in automotive or in a vehicle. Second is the vision system, which focuses on, let's say, a mirror system for interior, exterior, as well as ADAS solutions, such as the replacement of mirror using vision sensors. And the third biggest one is module and polymer division, which focuses on exterior and interior module designs and production of those designs, as well as integration of all the components which are going to those modules and deliver the final products to our end customer, who are vehicle manufacturers. In addition, we have several other divisions which are, let's say, focusing on expanding the business beyond the traditional business line, such as medical division, as well as logistics and aerospace. In this slide, you see a geographical representation of our group, where our group companies are located. And if you go one slide further, yeah. So with all our different business units, we fully focus on satisfying the customer need, what they would like to achieve together with us. But our group also needs to fuel their product line for future by introducing new technologies, new concepts, looking for startups, innovation partners like Gestoos, yeah, via plug-and-play platform. And that is the reason we at Motherson Innovations perform a duty like connecting several dots, yeah, make our business units aware about those things happening outside, and bring those technologies and partners to our, let's say, sphere. Yeah. and we focus to begin with in 4 different sectors: advanced lighting, smart surfaces, wireless power transfer, which like wireless charging, and sensors and HMI. So today's presentation with the Gestoos falls under the category of sensors and HMI. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, back to Ursula.
Thank you very much, Mukesh, for giving this brief overview. And as I have mentioned already, we are not alone today. Without our partnership with Gestoos, the presentations would not be possible. So I think it's the right moment for Todd to present Gestoos as a company, and later on we will be moving directly to Marcel to present the Creator platform. And if I can already now invite anyone, if there are any questions popping up during that demonstration, please feel free to write them in a chat and we will later answer them in Q&A session. So Todd, Marcel, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Ursula. Hi, everyone. My name is Todd Stein. I'm the CEO of Gestoos. Gestoos is a leading computer vision software company with a strong focus on the mobility industry. Our patented technology leverages machine learning and AI to provide edge detection models for increased safety, better operational efficiency, and improved HMI. We have offices in both San Francisco and Barcelona, and look forward to talking either during the event in the booth session at 8 o'clock or after the event with those who are interested in learning more about our technology. With that, I will hand it off to Marcel, who will tell us about our recently launched Creator tool.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. I'm Marcel, CTO and the founder at Gestoos. And yeah, today we'll be presenting Gestoos Creator. That is our platform to enable companies to train detection models for any human gesture, movement, activities, including any combination of person and object interaction, leveraging our proprietary IP that we have been working on and intensive development over several years. With this tool, it's an end-to-end tool that allows to easily and fast train models. Using this tool, you leverage our incremental and semi-supervised learning techniques that allow to generate very accurate models with a lower amount of training data. These models are also optimized for efficient computing processing at the edge. So we optimize the models for the different edge embedded platforms, leveraging GPUs, GPUs, or the available resources. Also, with this tool, we also allow customers to install the tool in their premises. So in their cloud premises, so they can keep confidentiality on the data and take advantage of our stack, but keep property of the models and data. So next. So what we address with Creator is to solve the main challenges we see that companies are facing in order to train accurate and robust AI models. So we see this lack of specialized computer vision and AI knowledge and expertise in-house in the companies that are not enable them to build the best-in-class models. That we see that the deployment is slow and expensive due to the costs of data acquisition and annotation, and this makes very long model development processes. Also, the obtained model lack accuracy, robustness, then these models are not able to learn at the edge, and also if this modeling process is absurd, then the companies lack the ability to modify the data models by themselves using the data. And at the end, these produced models might have difficulties into integrating to the production and final system. So we address all these issues with easy to use end-to-end platform that with no AI computer vision expertise, the users can train the different models. So we will show now the how the easy is to train a model using the tool. So I will guide you through the usage of the tool. So it's a cloud tool where you can upload different data sets. You can navigate through the different data sets. Can be data sets of videos, sequences of videos. Can be also data sets of images, sequences of frames. We can navigate through the different videos and do what's the annotation process. So the annotation can be done by annotating intervals in the different videos that define the different activities that the driver or the passengers are doing in the car that can will be the objectives of training the training models. You can easily browse the different videos and review this annotation in a very intuitive manner. Also, what we provide is tools to annotate objects and the location of the different objects by annotating bounding boxes. So for instance, we see the example of Gestoos, where we consider hands, body parts, the different positions, and we can also easily review these sequences and annotate the different bounding boxes present. We also provide tools to automate this process so that um, we can leverage existing detection models to auto-annotate and then use this tool to fine-tune, review, or complement the automatic annotation. Once the process of uploading and reviewing the data sets and the annotation is done, what we can do is to prepare what we call a training job that could be targeting different tasks, could be classifying the frames or to detect objects that need images. We select the type of task, and then we can select the different training and validation sequences that we want to use for training the model. So in this section, what we do is we select different training sessions, and also it's good to prepare validation sequences that will allow us to evaluate the model and to see how it's performing after the training is done. In this section, what we provide is different tools to filter the different sessions by metadata, labels. You can have metadata on different types of cameras, points of view, so that you can easily browse the different data sets, select which sequences you want to use for training, which one you want to use for validation, and then you jump into the preparation of the job parameters. So you can review the labels that you have for each class, and here you prepare the model parameters. So we provide pre-trained backbones that are addressing different tasks in a generic manner, and also we allow here incremental training. So we can start from base models that are already detecting certain number of classes, and we can add different new categories on top of this or update existing models with amounts of. Once we have prepared the training job, we launch the job, and this triggers a process in the background. This process may last a few minutes or few hours, depending on the amount of training data. And once this progress is finished, what we get is the results of the model with the validation. So we provide dynamic tools to review the results. So for instance, in this case, a confusion matrix, where we can review and directly see the images that are, in this case, providing a good match with the ground truth, or also we can check where the model is failing and detect corner cases that might give us clues on how to improve the training data to improve the accuracy of the model for this case. Once we are satisfied with the model, we can save it, and then what we call the export is the actual optimization of the model for a specific target market. That can be any Windows, Linux PC, but also embedded devices for Android and embedded, leveraging the acceleration framework of the boards in the target. So this again is a summary of the end-to-end process that you can do with Creator to easily train without any AI, computer vision, specific expertise, models leveraging our proprietary AI and machine learning. So in this part, I am my Creator introduction.
Thank you very much, Marcel, for that. I think this is a good basis to understand how the project came together and what the collaboration was about. So you all heard about both companies, Motherson and Gestoos, as separate players that at the end came together to have a proof of concept project. As I have mentioned already, the topic of that was child detection system. So looking at the safety of children in our cars in the future. We use the Creator platform as a tool to investigate this automotive use case scenario. But I think it will be just the best if really the team members will introduce the project and tell you how it came to place and what was the scope of the project, as well as what were the outcomes at the end. And for that, I'm glad to see that Benjamin was able to join the session successfully. Our colleague from Motherson, and Marcel will be further supporting the information exchange. And if there are any questions coming from your side as audience today, please feel free to type it into the chat of this session, and we'll go through that just shortly in the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Ursula. So I'm Benjamin Sampson. I'm R&D manager at Motherson Innovation. Hope you hear me well. We had a few connection problems. Sorry for that. So we decided to work with Gestoos on the detection of forgotten child in hot cars because it's an important issue that both the European and American regulator want to address in the coming future. The Euro NCAP 2025 roadmap aims to implement child presence detection system in cars by 2022, which is next year. And the US regulator, the NHTSA, also aimed to implement it pretty soon. Yeah, so a child presence detection system is a measure of an in-cabin monitoring, addressing the safety of one or several child left behind in a vehicle. We used a system integrating several sensors, such as RGB cameras and infrared cameras. We decided to work with these sensors located above the second seat row to get an obscure view of the second seat row and also of the footwell area. So an accurate detection requires the system to work for both forward and rearward facing child seat's position. Yeah. So the objective of the model is to localize the child and the child seats independently. Now the system is able to detect the child's presence and also differentiate if the child is in or out of the child seat, as you can see on the two pictures there. Yeah. For that, we collect a data set including 5 different children with age in between 9 months up to 3 years old in 3 different cars. And we also used a baby doll for challenging scenarios as child on the floor. We recorded almost 25 minutes of videos with 3 children and the baby doll to train the model. And to validate the model, we used 3 minutes 35 seconds and 2 children. Now we measure the accuracy of the use case toddler present and toddler in child seats. Of course, the validation sequences and the training sequences were not mixed. And the validation sequences include cases such as no child present, child not in the child seat, and child sitting in the child seat. And we obtained the following result. So to the question, is there a toddler in the video sequences? The model answered correctly 95% of the time. And to the question, where is the child located? Is it in a child seat or next to the child seat? Then the accuracy, so the correct answer of the model was 45% of the time. Now we will show you a short video to demonstrate how it looks.
Yeah. So we recorded, as Catherine was saying, sequences where the child was in the child seat. And as we can see, we are able to detect the child seat and then the position of the baby. Also in challenging situations where the baby is occluded, we are not able to detect it, but also in cases where there is different body poses and occlusions, we are able to detect, and we can easily differentiate where the child is in the child seat or is elsewhere. In these videos, we see examples of different situations.
Yeah, so using Gestoos Creator, the combined team was able to easily and efficiently develop a detection system for toddler left behind. The Creator end-to-end platform allows fast iteration of modeling process to redefine setup and training data requirements. No AI expertise was required to train the model of a child presence detection. I'm personally not an expert in AI. The project is still running, and so the further development will include an additional training and validation dataset, including more cars, more child seat, and more child, to bring the model to a prediction level robustness and quality. And we will also treat corner cases as children hidden by blanket. And we will also evaluate the performance of synthetic data, as toddler is not, I would say, the easiest subject to work with. Thank you for listening, and I give, I return the, Ursula, yes. I give you the.
Thank you very much to both of the teams. It is very exciting to hear about your developments and the project you work on. As we hear, it is not the end. There is still more to come. So maybe there could be a future session on that as well. But staying with the one we are having open right now, we have reserved some time for Q&A session. So if anyone would have an open topic, something that you would like to have clarified right now, whether on any of the companies, so Motherson or Gestoos, or on the joint project that is running, please feel free to write it in the chat. I think it's one of the easiest way to reach us, and we will go through the questions. I think it would be also possible if you request to come on the stage, then Johannes could allow for that, and then you can place your question personally and get into further discussion with the team members. And just as a reference for you, you can see on the screen the people behind the project, those who are involved, and they are all available here to answer your questions. So I think because typing may be taking some time, I may be the one to ask the first question to the round to allow others to formulate theirs. And coming from Motherson, I would ask Gestoos a question. So we were discussing here a specific use case on child detection, but how is it about other gestures, other movements within the vehicle, in the cabin monitoring? What are the possibilities there of your technology and of the Creator platform?
I'll start with this one, then Marcel, if you want to add some technical fine points, please do. The Gestoos platform can be used to train any gesture or any activity within the vehicle. We have pre-trained, pre-developed backbone models, which is done where we've done much of the heavy lifting. So creating the specific task model, like is someone texting, or is someone phoning, or is someone smoking in the car, is very easy to do as it's built upon those pre-developed backbone models. So any activity, whether person or person plus object, and any gesture, for example, to control the infotainment system, can quickly and easily be trained with the Creator platform.
Thank you very much, Todd. I see we are also being reached out by Helman in the chat with a question: is it possible to train from existing models built with TensorFlow or another framework?
Marcel, take that one, please.
Yeah, so at the moment it's not possible. It's something that we consider as an upcoming feature, so that could be possible to leverage our incremental and semi-supervised learning techniques in combination of existing models, and then get better accuracy in recognizing corner cases and using our tool to make this process more easy. So yeah, it's something that might be upcoming newer versions.
I would also add, Marcel, to that comment with talking about pre-existing models. Because the models can be added to incrementally, not just incremental data, but also incremental classes. If one of these models is put into production, i.e. it's in a vehicle, even if that vehicle has already been launched to the market, a year later, 2 years later, whenever that vehicle comes in for service, through a simple software upgrade, you can then add or upgrade the model that's in that vehicle. So functionality can be added to the models at any point in time during the life of the vehicle.
Thank you very much for that comment. And I have a longer one, I think even a double question coming from Timo. Are OEMs willing to integrate additional cameras for this function, and how many cameras are needed for reliable detection? And does this also work with static objects?
So yes, it's two parts. We can get reliable results with just a single camera for the front row. The baby detection, toddler detection, because the toddler seats for the first 6 months, at least here in the US, can be rearward facing. We do need a second sensor above the rear row to be able to look down upon the child seat so that the child's not blocked when the seat's in the rearward position. So with just one sensor, if we're only worried about driver distraction, like texting, phoning, or looking at the other passengers in the front seat, if we want front and rear seats, then we need two sensors. And the answer is yes. We have found that OEMs, I can't name names, but several OEMs are putting cameras into the vehicle for a variety of reasons. I've seen some systems with as much as 6 cameras going into the system. The OEMs are putting sometimes RGB or RGB IR 2D cameras. Others are looking at 3D, known as depth sensing cameras. We can work with either technology.
Mm-hmm. Great, thank you very much. And staying in the topic of the cameras, we have a question from Yosha asking how important is the infrared camera and would it still work without it?
If we're talking with 2D cameras, so the regular RGB sensor like you would find in your smartphone, works fine in daylight conditions. The IR emitter and the IR filter comes into play in dark scenarios, and that could be driving into an underground garage, driving into a tunnel, or any time at night. So a regular RGB camera works great during the day, but you need an RGB or what's called RGB IR to work at night.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was shortly mentioned there's also a scope for the future investigation, but Yash also asks, what happens if the child is covered or, for example, if it's in a sunshade?
Yeah, if the child is covered, for example, with the blanket, that's a challenging scenario. With computer vision, we can detect accurately, but the camera must see to be able to detect. So part of it is training cases where we can still detect the shape of the child underneath the blanket. That's part of the training data. And then other examples, if the child's entirely covered by something and it's not draped around the body so you can see the shape of the body, then we would have to look to additional types of sensor data, radio wave, which could penetrate the blanket and then still see the child underneath. So to satisfy all sort of infinite number of corner cases, we might need additional sensor types, but with additional training data, we should be able to capture most of that long tail with the child with a blanket.
Thank you very much from my side as well as from Yosha. And while we might be waiting on further questions to be typed into the chat, maybe I can also ask one question to my colleagues from Motherson and ask, well, you have the first experience using the Creator platform for the particular case of child detection. While working on this project, which is still ongoing, as we have heard, do you have already ideas for the other applications that may be of advantage in the future from the perspective of tier 1 supplier?
Yeah, so I can answer this. So here we take the advantage of machine vision, right? And the Gestoos platform already has plenty of use cases, or let's say parts of the sequences built in their platform. So for example, we want to build a completely new use case, let's say talking on a phone. Yeah. So let's say the platform already has the sequence for detecting the phone and sequence to detect the body posture of a person. Now, by combining those two different sequences, we can create new use case. Yeah, and likewise, we can expand the use case portfolio without, let's say, putting a lot of additional effort, because the Todd already says, the backbone is already available in the platform. And this is also the target. Once you already have the hardware available in the car, which is camera and the eligible ECU, which can sustain the load for machine vision, and then it will become just a matter of software upgrades with more features. But for machine vision, if you want to introduce new feature, you have to go through lot of data collection, lot of validation. Yeah, and this is the challenge which we would like to target. Yeah, how fast we can introduce new feature in software upgrade, and this is where the Gestoos tool can help.
Thank you very much, Mukesh. And when you're talking about the necessary data when training the tool and developing new use cases, how much data is really needed? How much information is needed to be inputted to the Creator platform to create those new use cases?
So I can maybe answer this question. As presented, with 30 minutes of videos, we can reach a very high level of satisfaction, which is higher than 90%. Of course, if we increase the time and we take more videos, we will probably reach 99% or maybe 100%. But with only 30 minutes, which is not that much time, we can already reach a very interesting satisfaction level, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also we need to keep in mind that whenever we have a special case, yeah, that's a corner case. So for that, we definitely require the video sequence which covers that corner case. Yeah.
Yes.
So these are this is the, let's say, defining parameter how we can claim higher accuracy. We can only claim it by covering all the different scenarios. Yeah, all the possible, let's say, scenarios where failure can happen. So we want to target those use cases. Yeah. For example, here in this child present detection, if we have only single sensor at the front, we cannot see footwell area at all. Yeah, by physics it's not possible. Yeah, but for camera. And that is also the reason, if you want to use machine vision, we need additional sensor for at the roof or on top of, let's say, B pillar. Yeah, somewhere where it has the view to the footwell, and also the combination with different sensor like radio frequency sensor together with machine vision. So camera sees a child seat, and the radar sensor sees that there is a living subject in the child seat. Yeah. And then you can combine both the output from different physical sensors, and you can say, yes, I can determine that there is a living subject in a child seat.
I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Adding, I would add, Ursula, if you don't mind, I would add to Mukesh's comments that our combination of the incremental learning with memory component and the semi-supervised or self-supervised, as it's sometimes called, the combination of those proprietary techniques and leveraging our patents which have been granted, we actually do a much better job of generalizing through the long tail. The long tail is that long list of very low probability events which often don't appear in your training data because by definition, they're very low frequency. So our models, because of how we build them, generalize better and are much more robust on that long tail of low probability corner case events.
Great. Thank you for those answers. And at the moment, I'm not receiving any further questions. So maybe as long as I'm giving the last encouragement to the audience to write any question or comment if you would have on the subjects that were discussed today and during this breakout session. Maybe I can ask my colleagues just to give the final word from perspective, something that would be important for people to remember from today's session. So maybe Todd, Marcel, from your side on the Creator platform as a tool, and Mukesh and Benjamin, maybe you could comment afterwards on the importance of the in-cabin monitoring in the as the component of the interiors of the future.
Sure. So key takeaways, we were able to, with very little training data, just 5 test subjects and about 35 minutes total of video, build a robust, reliable model for child detection presence and whether or not the child's in the child seat. This can be extended to any activity or gesture inside the cabin using just 1 or 2 sensors, basically a sensor per seat row. And you can do this entirely in-house with no computer vision or AI expertise needed. Using the Creator platform as an end-to-end tool, we've done all the heavy lifting, and we make it a very simple, straightforward process for the engineers to build the models.
Yeah. And to add from the perspective of importance of in-cabin monitoring, I can say that right now, when we see this NCAP roadmap, which is just a testing, I would say, committee or a company, which gives the rating. But behind this roadmap, there are already regulations in place or coming into place from different geographics, Europe, or US, Japan, China, to detect the distraction and drowsiness of driver. Yeah, definitely the safety use cases. So there are several companies targeting those use cases by putting vision sensor and the different software tools. Now this real estate is available in the car in few models and will be available in many more models in near future. What else they can do afterwards? Yeah? This is also a question. So they solve the challenge of the safety for driver. Hardware is there and just eating the resource. Yeah. Now what they want to do is they want to generate more revenue, or let's say create more useful functions for driver as well as for the larger ecosystem for let's say vehicle manufacturer, what people are doing, insurance companies, what the person is doing, the shared mobility or let's say taxi companies, what passengers are doing in the car. And this is possible if they introduce more software functions. But they don't want to use more hardware. And this is where these incremental use cases come into picture. I can see driver's face, I can see driver's hand, and I can also see the object around the driver. Now I need to combine. Okay, a taxi driver is driving a taxi, but he's also talking on my phone. So taxi company says, you are not allowed to do that. And the same thing, an insurance company can say that. And this is how they increment the functions and also provide, let's say, a bigger scope to the safety. Plus, let's say there are also few fancy use cases. Let's say for comfort function or when a car is driving autonomously, driver is free to do something. So he participate in online meeting and he would like to use video chatting. So if the camera is already there at the IRBM, which is used for driver monitoring or occupant monitoring, he can use the same real estate for other purpose. Taking a fancy snapshot of his face or with his friends. And this is how it is expanding. And that's how not only the safety relevant functions, but also comfort functions are being evolved and put into the larger scope of in-cabin monitoring.
Well, thank you very much. In this case, for both of the teams presenting today, of showing us the project that you're conducting together, as well as giving those final thoughts and takeaways. There were no more questions being written down, but I have enjoyed listening to you and having this discussion. I think we all agree that safety of all the passengers as well as the driver are important, and it's good to see that the computer vision is improving, being more accessible, and can be more widespread in the future. And we will be all working toward that safer environment for all of us. To the audience, thank you very much for joining us today. In case there are still some thoughts and questions that you might be having in relation to the topics that were discussed today, well, it's not end with this session, so you can always feel free to reach out to the representatives of our team. So in this case, Mukesh and Todd, you can see their email addresses here on the final page. And I'm sure if you would try to reach to any of the team members in any other way, whether in networking, in hopping during this event or later on via email, LinkedIn, or reaching through Plug and Play and Startup Autobahn, we'll be happy to support you with providing answers in having a separate discussion. Maybe there is something you would prefer to discuss in more privacy. We are looking forward to that, and we are open for further exchange. I wish the team further successful cooperation on the topic and hopefully expanding into other use cases and opportunities in the future. Thank you all very much for joining us today, for participating as moderators, presenters, as well as participants. And as there are still a few sessions in front of us today, I wish you an joyful event and hope to see you soon and hear from you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ursula. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.